Hello, my name is Jeffrey. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, this is Technicolor Films. I'm doing a quick review in this video of my Sony FX30. I've had it for maybe 3 or 4 months now, and I just want to do kind of like this quick honest review about it. First, I have a small rig base plate. I have a battery, a Momin V-mount battery. It's a mini V-mount. That can power the camera maybe 8 or 9 hours. Also, in parentheses, the NZ F100 battery that comes with the camera. It's really great. If you're not going to shoot continuously or just have the camera on all the time, it really does the trick. You can shoot an entire day on that thing if you're going to be turning it off or maybe recharging a little bit every once in a while you dump footage, which I did in a trip I did to New York City recently. I have the Feel World monitor. It's an affordable monitor. I use it every once in a while. Sometimes I just actually use the mini monitor when I'm kind of like moving faster. I'm using Condor blue cables, the D-tap or P-tap, and then HDMI. And then I have the camera with the small rig cage itself. I'm using a 24mm G Master full frame lens just because I want to get a full frame camera again. I've used full frame cameras in the past and I want to get one later on, so it just makes sense for me if I'm going to get a full frame Sony to have full frame lenses. And then I have a small rig mini matte box. I use a K&F Concept variable ND filter, 1 to 9 stops. The reason I use 1 to 9 stops is because I like having the control all the way from the beginning till the end instead of like 2 to 6 or 7 or I think 7 to 11. I don't like those just because then I'm kind of always having to switch because 1 is too much or not enough, and I don't like that. So I use a 1 to 9. I've used the camera in cold and warm weather, 20 degrees, 30 degrees in New York. Here in my hometown of Florida, it's always hot, 80, 90, humid, and the camera has been great. It hasn't overheated, it hasn't shut down, it hasn't given me any error messages. I know obviously that's just one case, maybe other versions of the FX30 you guys gave you a little bit of issues, but in terms of mine, it's been incredible. A few things that I wish it had though are 180-degree shutter angle and then internal RAW. Now I know that's probably not as easy as it sounds to just put in a camera. I don't know how making these cameras actually works, the in-depth of it, so maybe putting internal RAW in a camera is not that easy or straightforward, but it's in a Pocket 4K, and that camera right now you can find one in B&H or Adorama used at times for $800, and that's insane to have internal RAW for that price and shooting in 4K as well. Using internal RAW is just incredible. It just gives you that much more control over your footage, and it gives you that much more control over what actually happened that day. Now of course you should still white balance correctly, you should still light correctly, you should still have everything set up correctly, but having internal RAW is incredible. So if this camera were to get internal RAW or 180-degree shutter angle at least, it would be, I would never even think about the Blackmagic ever again. But because I come from Blackmagic and Red, having RAW right in my camera is really a plus that I wish these cameras had. The low light in this camera really surprised me. I didn't think it would be as pleasing as it has been, but I've shot a few scenes where I really didn't have, I just had kind of like a small little key light someone was holding over my shoulder, and I really am happy with this camera's low light. The menu layout and the buttons on the FX30, I do like the Blackmagic. Obviously the screen, it's a 5-inch screen, and it really gives you like just a simple menu to maneuver. I think that's the best menu system that I've used, at least. But I like the FX30 menu system. I like the quick menu that they have now, where you can just go and kind of adjust your white balance, adjust your shutter speed, adjust all these quick little things, ISO, volume of your audio. I like those. I like that menu system. It's really easy to use, so I don't mind this menu system at all. The autofocus is really reliable. I've shot a lot of client work with it, and they've been completely happy. But it's just an incredible camera overall. The value, I mean, this is like what, $1,700–1,800 without the top handle, and you should get the top handle, especially later on when you're gonna realize you need it later on. But you should get the top handle with it if you can. But honestly, my honest final opinion is I think this is the best value cinema camera you can get. It's oversampled 6K, 4K 120 with a crop, so just adjust your lens or frame your shot up better, It's just so good, and I think it does oversampled 6K to 4K 60. I'm not too sure, but I think it does, which is incredible. It's so much value in this camera. The only thing I wish it had is some features from the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, like 180-degree shutter angle and internal RAW. But I love this camera. I think it's the best value besides an A7 IV, which is an incredible camera as well. And obviously you guys know a list of other cameras that are incredible value, so those are great, but I think my favorite are the Pocket 4K, the FX30, and the A7 IV. But the FX30, for anyone who wants to get into cinema work, documentaries, music videos, content creation, talking heads, whatever, I think it's just so good of a value for $1,700 what you're getting, and what you can, you know, the way you can travel with it, the way it's so easy to use and to function. You can rig it up and rig it down and carry it in a backpack, or rig it up to look more like a cinema rig. It's just incredible.